that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer, and I sent my word, and I healed your disease. I am the Lord, your healer. This is his word. I am the God that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer, and I sent my word, and I healed your disease. I am the Lord, your healer. You sent your word, and you healed my disease. You are the Lord, my healer. Yes, you are.
Good evening. Whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. Good evening, listeners and viewers, and welcome to another edition of Nature's Way here on Waves 96.3 FM. I am Debbie, and I'm so happy to be here with you this evening. We are going to be discussing a very interesting topic as usual that Nebert started. Let me just say thanks to Nebert for sitting in for me for a few weeks now. Um, I am happy that, the program still goes on because the information is there and it is to be shared because we want you to be healthy and we want you to know what is going on and how you can be healthy. And this is a call to a healthy, wholesome lifestyle. So this is the this is the program for it. I just want to thank you all for staying in tune and thank those persons who have called, who have been praying. And here I am today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the lymphatic system as Niebert started that system last week, the lymphatic system. And he looked at one of the things he looked at was lymphangitis, and we're going to be continuing. There are two other areas under this system that we need to make mention of, and we're going to be looking at them. If you see in the description box, you can see mononucleosis and scrofula, and then we're going to be moving on to another system because this evening it's we're going to be looking at the disease of the reproductive system in men, and if time permits we're going to be looking at it as well in women. All right, so we before we go any further, we are going to ask that you bow your heads with us and pray. Okay, let us pray. Our kind, compassionate Heavenly Father, we are grateful for your provision. We are grateful for your guidance. We are grateful for your protection. We are grateful, Lord, for all the things that you have done for us. I pray, dear Lord, that as we go through this discourse this evening, that the information that will be disseminated will be useful to someone and that your people will surrender their lives to you. We pray, dear Lord, that you will continue to provide the information and continue to provide for us. Bless us now, we pray. Touch everything in studio so that they may work to its optimal. And I pray that you will be with your people as they listen. Thank you for all you do on our behalf. In Jesus' name, amen. Um, I'm just going to encourage you, listeners and viewers, to subscribe to Nature's Way so that when it is on, you are able to get the notification, because sometimes um it it proves a little difficult here to send the link out each time. So once you have watched it, or you know once on YouTube, I'm inviting you to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so that you can be notified and you won't skip a beat. All right? Okay. So, as I said, we are still looking at the lymphatic system, and we're looking at mononucleosis. Mono, infectious mononucleosis. So, from time to time, you may hear me mention mono. It's the same thing I'm talking about, mononucleosis. All right, so the symptoms include depression, fatigue, fever, generalized aching, sore throat, jaundice, red rash in the form of raised bumps. So there'll be some little bumps, and they'll not they'll be raised, and they'll have this reddish look. Right? Symptoms, let me tell you this again. For mononucleosis or mono infection, fever, generalized aching, sore throat, swollen glands, headache with possible red rash in the form of raised bumps. Okay? And the causes, mono is a contagion primarily affecting the spleen and the lymphatic system, and that's the system we are looking at this evening. It can be transmitted by kissing, by sexual contact, or sharing food, but it can also be spread through the air, in contaminated air, exhaled by another person who has contracted this. So it is not necessarily the kissing disease as it is described to be, because it is also airborne. It is not highly contagious. In household, the brothers and sisters or relatives may not be infected. It is not highly contagious, but it is contagious. All right. So, and more than likely, your siblings are affected. It is contagious, as I most frequently contracted by children and teenagers. The incubation period is 10 days, amounting among children 30 to 50 days among adults. So for children, when it is contracted by children and teenagers, the incubation period is 10 days for children, and for adults is 30 to 50 days. And that's quite a long time. So a month to 2 months, approximately. The symptoms are very similar to those of the flu. And if you recall, some of the symptoms include sore throat and swollen glands, headache as well. So these are, symptoms like the flu. But those of the mononucleosis continue for 2 to about 4 weeks. Even after the other symptoms are gone, a general fatigue can continue for about 3 to 8 weeks more. Some people continue to feel fatigued for months, even years afterwards. Individuals frequently say that they feel sick, but they continued working, thinking that they would shake it off or something, it would go away by itself. And then they came down with the mono. So, mono, the infectious nucleosis disease. All right. So, if you feel like going to bed and getting well, do it before something worse happens to you. Because once you feel this way, it is recommended that you get the rest, because rest will help you to heal or will help to prevent you from feeling worse. All right. The Epstein Barr virus, or the EBV, or more rarely, the um, cytomega, cytomegalo, the cytomegalovirus, or for short, it is CMV. And for the Epstein Barr virus, it is EPV. So you will hear me mention EPV or the CMV. Now, this is the cause of this infection. So these are the causes of the mononucleus infection. All right. It cannot be treated with antibiotics, because if some of the symptoms are flu-like, but they cannot be treated with antibiotics. So giving the patient antibiotics can produce an allergic rash, or worse, you see those red raised bumps, you will get worse rashes than those. All right. So the EBV and the CMV remain in the body throughout the rest of one's life. But the infection, carefully treated, generally seems to go away. And note it says seems to go away. So it means that you are susceptible to it. So you have to be careful, and you have to ensure that you treat with the problem. So we're going to be looking at some natural remedies later on, and these are the things that will help it to go away. Because the with the natural remedies, what happens is they go straight to the problem, treat the problem, eliminate the problem. With the drugs, it just suppresses the problem. All right. So, this is why here on Nature's Way, we give you the natural remedies, because they work. They go straight to the problem and solve the problem, and they don't create additional problems. Rest and care for yourself is important, and you do this so the outward symptoms will successfully go away. So while you're treating it, it is best to rest. Any disease at all, any infections, or any illness, once you are treating it, it is recommended that you rest. All right. You have to rest. If you don't rest, it's not going to go away. It means you're going to still feel tired, and the symptoms will not go away quickly, because you are not resting. So your body is still tired, and you will not allow the medication or the remedies to work. Okay? Be alert to the signs that are more serious. Splenic infection may be about to begin. A fever over 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Severe pain in the middle of your left side, and that lasts for 5 minutes or more. Breathing becomes difficult, or swallowing becomes difficult. If this happens, you need to contact your physician, because something else may be going on. You need to find out what is going on. This occurs because you did not go to bed, you did not rest, and properly care for yourself when the infection first started. And remember, as I said, once you feel you have an infection or an illness is coming on, it is best for you to rest and take care of yourself. Treat with the problem. All right? As a result, the spleen ruptures and there is internal hemorrhage. Fever can reach up to 103 degrees to 104 degrees Fahrenheit and persist for 1 to 2 weeks. And this is a result of you not resting. There may be chills and sore throat, may make eating difficult for several weeks as well. Okay? So you need to ensure that you do that. Okay? So, a producer, I am getting a feedback. I don't know why. I keep hearing the feedback coming through. All right. So, let us look at the natural remedies now. So, go on a light fast of fruits and vegetable juices for about a day or two, 1 to 2 days. All right. So, you need to go on a fast. So, when you go on a fruit fast and a vegetable fast, you are flushing your system. Eat a nourishing diet, emphasizing vegetable soups, potato peeling broth, and brown rice. Eat small meals, small amounts, and because of the sore throat, avoid acid juices such as citrus juices. All right, so the vegetable juices and the fruit juice, you're going to choose the fruit juice especially carefully because you don't want to irritate the sore throat. All right, to compound the problem. So you avoid acid juices such as citrus. A soft diet is the best for the patient, and if the patient is a child with severe sore throat. So if the patient is a child, you give that person soft food to eat, liquid food preferably. For an adult, you give them a soft food just the same, but it doesn't have to be all that liquidy. All right? Because of the sore throat, and what you're going to find happening is that when you eat the hard food, you're going to irritate the throat, and you don't want to do that. All right? Because you're going to make the problem worse, and you don't want that to happen. Drink plenty of distilled water and be sure your intake of trace minerals is adequate. Drinking cool water often soothes the throat. Salt water gargles will also help. All right, so you don't want to drink anything too hot or anything cold. Remember, I said anything too hot, it must be warm, uh, and you don't want to drink anything that is cold, nothing cold. All right, because you're going to compound the problem. Remember, you have a sore throat. Okay, do not eat processed or junk foods. Do not eat meat, sugary, fried foods, no coffee or soft drinks. Okay? So your diet is very important. Remember, I said you have to eat a nourishing diet. The rest and nutrition are very important. Rest and nutrition are two of the 8 laws of health. And these are very important, especially when you are sick. You have to make sure you eat a nourishing diet and you have to ensure that you get adequate rest. Okay? So, another thing that you have to do is to stay in bed until the worst part is over. If you don't do this, you are going to run into problems. As long as the spleen is enlarged, you need lots of rest. However, it has been found that after a few days, mild activity, it will be all right. But excessive activity may lead to a relapse and injury to the spleen. It may require a 6 to 8 weeks before the person can return to regular activities. You are sick, you need to, if you are at work, you need to go on sick leave. You need to, your physician will give you the requisite amount of time off, because he or she knows the what can occur if you don't get enough rest. Don't stay like some of us that worry about the work and don't take the time off. Rest is very important. All right. Do not strain at the stool, for this could injure a temporarily enlarged spleen. Okay? Isolation of the ill person is not required because, yes, it is contagious but not highly contagious. But no one else should use, um, for example, if the person wears glasses, nobody else should use that person's glasses or the glass that you drink out of, because on the face, that you can contract it from that. The air you breathe, it can be contracted from that. The glass you drink from as well, it can be contracted from that. The cups, and if you use a drinking straw, don't let anybody else use that straw. So it's not just the drinking glass, the glass is on your face as well. So nobody should use these things that the person uses, because, as I said, it can be contracted. But it is not. It's not highly contagious. All right. Okay. So these are some of the things that you need to ensure that you do. Now, one of the herbs that you can use is the dandelion. And the dandelion tea will protect the liver, and echinacea will boost the immune system. So you're going to use the dandelion tea and you're going to use the echinacea as well. And echinacea, I think they have it in the tablet form as well. So you can use it like that. Okay, so these are two very good herbs that you can use, dandelion and the echinacea. An expert knows how to give 30 minutes of fever therapy daily for 3 days, maintaining the body temperature at 102 to 103 degrees Fahrenheit. This will successfully treat even the most advanced cases of infectious mononucleosis. So, giving a hot bath, which includes a brief fever, which induces a brief fever, produces as dramatic results as the use of um, drugs that they call um, corticosteroid drugs. So you don't really need to use the drugs, because if you give the hot bath to induce enough, just a little bit of fever, this will produce dramatic results. All right. So you can stay away from the drugs. All right. With none. And then these, this method will not give you any impair immunologic function. So the drugs now will impair the immunologic function. But if you use the hot bath therapy, and this is not going to work immediately, but you do it over time, and that will help to work. And you don't have to worry about any side effects or um, any problems with your immune system. It will not break down your immune system. It will build up your immune system and strengthen your immune system. So the natural remedies, listeners, viewers, is very important and safe. So it is good if you go the natural way. That's what we recommend here at Nature's Way. All right? Treat headaches with a hot foot bath. Do not give an aspirin to a child or to a youth, for it might cause rise syndrome. So you see, the encouragement here is that we do not use the drugs, because the drugs can further compound the problem and cause other complications. And we don't want this, because if we use the drugs, we can either impair our immune system, or we can use the for the headaches. You can we For fever, we know we can use the dandelion and the echinacea. All right, so, and we can also use the hot bath. Now these are three things that we can use, natural things that we can use. For the headache, you can use the hot foot bath. Your feet, the sensors in your feet. God made us so amazing. I'm lost for words. We are so wonderfully made that you see, we don't have to use these things. We don't have to use these drugs. We can just use the natural things and allow our bodies to heal itself. All right, because that's how God made us. All right, so if the person is suffering from the headache as one of the symptoms that was mentioned earlier, you can do the hot foot bath instead of popping a pill, because you can compound the problem by causing another syndrome, another disease, another complication, which is Rise syndrome. You don't want to do that. All right. Several weeks of rest in bed is required to produce complete healing. Many people, many young people do not want to do this because they have to be up and about. As a result, some develop a chronic monofatigue for months or years afterwards. All right? And you don't really want to develop these things. You need to rest, and rest is very, very important. Rest is very important, and I cannot stress it enough. God has given us 8 laws of health. All right, and this is one of them. And this is one of them. And you if you follow these 8 laws of health, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. All right, God is our creator, and he is the one who gives us everything that we need to function. So we need to make sure that we listen to his instructions and follow his instructions and be obedient to his instructions. The person who made the car gave us a manual when they made the car. All right. It, the manual tells us where to put the gas, where to put the engine oil, where to put water, where to put the transmission oil, the power steering oil, all of these oils and fluids. You are given instructions where where in the vehicle to put these. If you put something that is not supposed to go at the right place, what is going to happen? You are going to have to go to auto rehab, all right, to get the car repaired. and you are going to have to be fixing and fixing. And sometimes the damage is so bad that maybe it has to stay there for a long period of time, down for a while. Now, God has made us and He gave us a diet. He gave us a manual of the things that we are to put inside our body. All right, and the things not to put in our body. He didn't just give us what to put in, He also warns us of what not to put in. And if we do the opposite of what He says, we find that we come down with all these problems in our systems. And some of the foods that we eat, or I should say, well, all the foods that we eat affect our systems, lymphatic systems, all our systems, the skeletal muscular system, the endocrine system, the respiratory system, all our systems in a negative or a positive way. And we have to be careful of that because we are going to be coming down with all of these diseases. Some of these diseases, listeners and viewers, we cannot even call the names of them. I think sometimes they just make them up because they don't know what they are. So why don't you just be obedient and put the things in our bodies that God has instructed us to do? All right, let us use those things that He has given to us. Let us use the blueprint, which is the Bible, or manual, which is the Bible, to make ourselves healthy and stay healthy. Now, there is a condition, and this may be due to food allergies. So it often occurs in high school and college age students. Now, this condition is treated with an allergen free diet. All right. And when we look at allergies, we will discuss that some more. But for the we looked at Niebuhr looked at lymphangitis last week. Lymphangitis is one of these things that can cause that is occurs due to food allergies as well. So there are some foods that we are to stay away from when we are treating with mononucleosis. All right. So some of them I mentioned earlier, the junk foods and the sugary foods and the fried foods and meat and the sugary drink, the soft drinks and the caffeine. We need to stay away from these things. Not just while we are treating with this disease, but these things are not good for our bodies. So we need to stay away from them. It is now 4:30 p.m. and you are tuned into the Nature's Way program here on Waves 96.3 FM. I am Debbie, your host, and if you're just joining us, welcome. We are looking at the lymphatic system, and we are looking at mononucleosis, or or infectious mononucleosis. And mononucleosis, we said, it's a contagious disease primarily affecting the spleen and the lymphatic system, which is the system we are looking at. And some of the symptoms include depression, fatigue, fever, generalized aching all over the body, sore throat, swollen glands, headache, jaundice, and with possible red rash in the form of raised bumps. Now, this is mononucleosis. In everything, God has given us some encouraging words. We have the Bible, and the Bible is it's a book that for every situation we may come up with, God has a word for us. All right. Now, if we are sick, let us not be depressed or discouraged, because God has told us in His Word, John 15 and verse 11, Jesus is our counselor. It is your privilege to cast all your care upon Him, for He careth for you. We must exercise that living faith which will penetrate the clouds that, like a thick wall, separate us from heaven's light. We give heights of faith to reach. We have heights of faith to reach, where all is peace and joy in the Lord. How thankful we can be for the love of God. We can be thankful for the love of God. You can have the heart of a little child in its simplicity and unreserved obedience. Your soul will yearn after holiness, and more of the treasures of truth and grace will be revealed to you to be given to the world. God has a wonderful plan for your life, and day by day, it will be fulfilled more and more as you trust and obey His written words. Trust and obey. Trust our Creator, trust our Maker, and obey His words. All right? And how are we going to trust them if we don't know them? So it is important that we read them. Read our Bibles daily. Read His instructions daily so that it can become a part of us and so that we can know what to believe and know what to trust and know what to be obedient to. Now, the next disease that we're going to be looking at that affects the lymphatic system is a disease called scrofula, or it is lymph TB. It is called scrofula or lymph TB. Now, scrofula is a type of tuberculosis which affects the lymphatic organs. The symptoms include tuberculosis of the cervical lymph nodes, particularly with enlargement and cheesy degeneration of the lymphatic glands of the neck. The causes of scrofula. Scrofula is caused from mucus accumulating into large lumps in specific areas of the lymphatic glands. The cause of scrofula, this is from mucus accumulating into large lumps in specific areas of the lymphatic glands. Now, this is basically a diet problem. The the mucus diet will decrease the mucus in the area. Poultices and cleansing will complete the process. All right, so we're going to look at this. This is a diet problem, and you eat the foods that are promote the buildup or the accumulation of mucus. And when you think about this, what are the foods that come to mind? The foods that help, that promote the accumulation of mucus. What are some of these foods? What foods come to mind? One thing that comes to my mind, and I'm going to just put it in a package, is dairy products. These are the things that cause mucus buildup in our bodies, in our lymph nodes, in our lymphatic system. So, what we need to do is to eliminate these foods that cause this, that promotes mucus accumulation. All right, and we are going to be looking at some natural remedies, and you can substitute these, some of these foods, these you have persons out there like myself who are cheese lovers. You can make your own cheese. Did you know that you can use vegetables to make your own cheese? You can make your own cheese. And a lot of persons tell you, oh, we need to be off YouTube and all of that. Yes, agreed. However, while you are on it, there are some things that you can learn, because there are a lot of recipes out there that you can use, that natural recipes that you can use for your cheese and your milk and all of these things. All you have to do is do the research, look them up, and write them down. Get your notepads and write them down so that you can know how to make these things and test them. And all the ingredients are available. So you can use these things to make your own cheese and your own milk. And you can substitute all of the eggs. You can substitute all of those things. And some of these things, we just need to eliminate them from our diet altogether, because they are not good for our health. You know that some persons, they are up in age, and some of the diseases that I hear people talking about that they have or they suffer from, some persons, they don't have those complaints because of their diet. And remember, as I said, scrofula is a diet problem. It's a diet problem. And we need to fix the diet so we can fix our health. And it's a simple thing. Fix our diet so that we can fix our health. Some persons, years passed and they have not gone to the doctor, only for a checkup, because sometimes things may be happening and you don't know. So you go for a checkup, and there are some diseases that happen over time, and then it is not until it is chronic that you really see it showing up. So you do your checks, and you continue to take your natural remedies and do your thing. And if there is something that is happening, as we say on this program before, that things may be happening to you that you find strange. So what you do, you do your journaling, and you see, what is it that, oh, did I eat something that I didn't normally eat? What is it? And then you do your process of elimination. And there are some things that you just have to eliminate from your diet altogether, because it is making you sick. It may make you sick this week and you feel fine in a few days, and next week you go back and you eat the same thing and you get sick. You know what you're doing? You're breaking down your immune system. The next time you get sick from this particular food or whatever it is you're putting in your body, you may not recover. You may not recover because you're breaking down your system. So it is important. It is very important. Your diet is important. And once you have a diet problem, you can fix that problem. Just, you know, Jesus is our counselor. So let us consult with him and let us obey him. There are things in his words, written words, that we need to read, know for ourselves, so that we can trust him and love him, obey him, and fix the health problem. The health problem that we have can be fixed with diet. All right. So, some of the natural remedies for scrofula or lymph TB, you can use 3 parts of mullein and 1 part of lobelia as a fomentation or poultice over the area that is affected to reduce the swelling. Now, the entire bloodstream must be purified and the whole body cleansed to effect a cure. And there are some um, herbs that you can use to fix this. So, what you're going to do, you're going to mix 2 ounces each of dandelion root, yellow dock root, bittersweet, and stillingia root with 1 ounce each of sassafras root, bark, figworth root, and this American ivy, or Virginia creeper bark, or only the twigs. You can use only the twigs, and you can substitute these as well. So you can use all of these or some of these. And then what you're going to do, you're going to mix each of this. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to simmer the ingredients in 3 quarts of water and reduce to 2 quarts. So 3 quarts of water, and you're going to boil it until it becomes 2 quarts. Then you're going to strain it, and you can sweeten it with honey, no sugar. You can sweeten it with honey or agave and allow to cool. Now, you are after you have done this, you are going to allow it to cool. What you're going to do, you're going to bottle it and keep it in a cool place. Preferably a glass bottle, not a plastic bottle. And then you're going to be taking 1 tablespoon 3 times daily. All right, I'm going to go over that again, the first one, so that you can get it. So, the first thing that you are going to do is that you can use mullein and lobelia, and you can use this as a fomentation or poultice, and you're going to rub this on the area. And remember now, this scrofula is caused from mucus accumulation into large lumps in specific areas of the lymphatic glands. Now, this, as I said, this is a basic diet problem, so you can fix this. All right. So the 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 gland in the neck, that's the area you're going to apply the mullein and the lobelia as a poultice. And this, because that area, you'll have swelling in that area. So this will help to reduce the swelling. And then you need to cleanse your blood. You can use these roots. You can use charcoal as well to help to cleanse your bloodstream. All right. So to get out those things that are the mucus buildup. All right. So as I said before, you're going to mix 2 ounces of each of these roots: dandelion, yellow dock, bittersweet, and stillingia root. And you're going to mix these with 1 ounce each of sassafras root and bark, root or the bark, and or the bark. And you're going to do figworth root, American ivy, or Virginia creeper bark, or only its twig, if that's available to you. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to simmer the ingredients in 3 quarts of water and reduce to 2 quarts. Then you're going to strain it and sweeten it with honey. For those who can't take honey, you can use agave, and you are going to allow it to cool. Now, when you allow this to cool, you know what is going to happen? You're going to have a little syrupy texture. All right, so you're going to keep it in a cool place, not in the refrigerator necessarily, not cold, but cool place, and preferably in a glass bottle, not a plastic bottle. And then you're going to take 1 tablespoon 3 times daily. And this will help to get rid of the mucus buildup in your body. Now, sunshine is another law of health, and it is recommended that when you treat with scrofula, you make sure that you get sunshine. It is extremely important. So, being out in the sun is important, so you need to get in some sunshine. You eat only quality fruits, vegetables, and cereals. Drink plenty of water, which is another law of the 8 laws of health. And you're going to drink the water. All right, especially before noon, you drink a lot of water. So you can do this first thing when you get up in the morning. You can drink some water, room temperature water, no cold water, and you make sure you drink that. And before noon, it is good that you can get in as much as possible. Take 1 to 2 full baths. All right, so tepid, cool, or cold, but not hot. Not a hot bath. All right, and you do this daily. Whenever the body is feverish, constantly apply cool or cold wet compresses and the wet sheet pack. You can use that too, following by the dripping sheet or the half bath. So, sitting in a partially filled tub, you can do that as well. At other times, you can apply them only 1 to 2 times weekly. When the patient has torpor or over fullness, apply moderate sweating in a dry blanket. So this will help to alleviate the fever. Now, so you may have boils, but if there are boils, eruptions and abscesses occur during active treatments. So this will help the toxins in your body to be released if this happens. So when this happens, it means that the toxins, because after a while the boils erupt, and if you have abscesses as well, there are some during the treatment, these things may come up, and what this does is help to eliminate the toxins from your body. So these are the things that you are going to use to eliminate the toxins in your body. So you can use cold applications, you can use sun baths, but don't stay in the sun for too long. You can use air baths, outdoor exercise, and but light exercise. Eat carefully, nutritious diet rich in protein, and make sure you live in a elevated region. Well, if not, in an area of if the area is not too damp and low, you know. If you may have to relocate for a period of time, you just may have to do that. Because some persons, when they are sick, they relocate to a more comfortable area or a more suitable area that will help the recovery process. So you may just have to do that. All right. So that's it for scrofula or lymph TB, and I hope that the information shared for this particular disease, which is not very common, you can you can um, you can treat with it with that. As the heart is opened to the entrance of God's written word, light from heaven shines upon the soul. Determine to make God first, best, and last in everything you say and do. Make sure that God is first, best, and last in our life. Jesus does not ask this sufferer to exercise faith in him. He simply says, "Rise, take up thy bed and walk." And we know the story. We know that story well. All right. He says, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." He did not ask him, "Do you have faith in me?" or "You need to exercise faith in me." He knew his heart. And so he said to him, "Rise, take up thy bed and walk." The man faith takes hold upon that word. Every nerve and muscle thrills with new life, and helpful action comes to his crippled limbs. Without question, he sets his will to obey the command of Christ, and all his muscles respond to his will. Springing to his feet, he finds himself an active man. Jesus had given him no assurance of divine help. The man might have stopped to doubt and lost his one chance of healing, but he believed Christ's word, and in acting upon it, he received strength. Through the same faith, we may receive spiritual healing. By sin, we have been severed from the life of God. Our souls are palsied. Our souls are palsied. Our of ourselves, we are no more capable of living a holy life than was the impotent man capable of walking. There are many who realize their helplessness and who long for that spiritual life which will bring them into harmony with God. They are vainly striving to obtain it. In despair, they cry, "O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from this body of death?" Romans 7 and verse 24. Let these desponding, struggling ones look up. The Savior is to bending over the purchase of his blood, saying with inexpressible tenderness and pity, "Wilt thou be made whole?" He bids you arise in health and peace. Do not wait to feel that you are made whole. Believe his word, and it will be fulfilled. Put your will on the side of Christ. Will to serve him, and in acting upon his word, you will receive strength. Whatever may be the evil practice, the master passion will, through long indulgence, binds both soul and body. Christ is able and longs to deliver. He will impart life to the soul that is dead in trespasses. Ephesians 2 and verse 1. He will set free the captive that is held by weakness and misfortune and the chains of sin. According to this wonderful book, Desire of Ages, pages 202 to 203. God is our refuge and strength, a very pleasant present help in time of need. Let us believe his word, and his word will be fulfilled in us. We need to believe him. All right. So we have completed the lymphatic system, and we're going to move on now to another system, which is the reproductive system. And we're going to be looking at reproductive in men before we go on. And if time permits, we can look at the reproductive system in female. Okay, so we have just about an hour to go, and we're going to get straight into this other system, which is the reproductive system. This God is our God forever and ever. He will be our guide even unto death, according to Psalm 48 and verse 40. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Psalm 1 and verse 1. The Lord had set apart him that is godly for himself. There is no want to them that fear him. They that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that ye, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work. Now, with these words in mind, we are going to be looking at the reproductive system in men, and we're going to be looking at the male pelvic organs, also the male infertility. And we're going to be going through this. So, the first thing we're going to be looking at is spermatoria. And this is one of the diseases or one of the conditions that we're going to be looking at in men. So, spermophobia, or this is nocturnal emission. We're going to be looking at the enlarged prostate and benign prostate. We're going to be looking at testicle inflammation, testicular atrophy, and male menopause. Did you know that men also um, go through menopause? So we're going to be looking at those. Once time permits, we're going to be looking at these. It is now um, almost 5 o'clock, 2 minutes to the hour, and you are still tuned in to Nature's Way here on Waves 96.3 FM, and we have just about an hour to go. All right, so spermatoria or nocturnal emission. Now, the symptoms for spermatoria include involuntary loss of semen without organism, often while asleep. And causes and treatment in the for causes and treatment. Now, the male generative organs, the testicles, the testes, sorry, must remain somewhat cooler than body temperature. When they become overheated by taking a hot tub bath, a release of sperm will be made in the night. Since that particular supply of sperm has become damaged and must be eliminated from the body. So, if you sleep too warmly at night due to an electric sleeping blanket or so, and if it is set on high, the overheated testicles will eject sperm the next day. Another cause is visual or thought sexual stimulation, and a poor diet is also another cause. Listeners, viewers, you realize that diet is involved in all of these situations because diet is very, very important. No wonder God has given us the blueprint for our diet. And we're going to be looking at some natural remedies for spermatoria. And a low protein diet is good. This is free from the use of eggs, and this will prove beneficial. So you see, we go back to the dairy products again. All right. So, um, what we need to do is ensure that our diet is important. For this particular situation or condition, your diet is important. So you must consume a nutritious diet. All right? Make sure that you eat a diet that is filled with nutrients, a diet that is less or eliminate dairy products altogether from your diet. Do not eat meat, and make sure you consume a lot of your leafy green vegetables, your fresh fruits, have your fruit juices and your green juices, and make sure you eat a healthy diet. The grains and nuts, these are the things that we should eat. eliminate eggs from your diet altogether. Also, make sure that you take long baths, and preferably cool or cold, and make sure before you go to bed you have a prolonged neutral bath, especially at night. All right. So you can do this 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime, and make sure you have your diet intact. This is so important. This is very, very important. And for the spermatoria, this is the major thing, the major remedy. Your diet has to be nutritious and balanced. All right? Make sure, a word of caution, when losses are frequent or parts irritable, avoid cold zits baths and prolonged hot baths. So if you have ejaculating, if you are ejaculating more frequently, make sure, and your parts are irritable, make sure you avoid these baths. Don't do them too long. Hot baths and cold zits baths, make sure they are not too long. So you can do the adjustments as you go along. Pray with unshaken faith and trust. The angel of the covenant, even our Lord Jesus Christ, as the mediator, who secures the acceptance of the prayers of his believing ones, God can give you the help that you need, according to Hebrews 11 and verse 6. And this is your encouragement. Give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, ye shall never fall. 2 Peter 1 and verse 10. The Son of Man came to give his life a ransom for many, for all of us. We need now to choose. What are we going to do? Are we going to accept him? Earlier today, I was at a funeral service, and one of the elders at the service, he said, um, what is our choice today? Are we going to choose Christ, or are we going to allow his blood, his shed blood on Calvary's cross, to go in vain? Are we going to waste his blood? So that's my question. I'm borrowing that question. Are we going to waste his blood? We need to give our life to him. All these things that we share here on Nature's Way are important for a healthy, wholesome living. The spiritual side, the physical side, the emotional side. Physical, spiritual, emotional, wholesome, healthy living. It is important that we take stock of our health. It is important that we take stock of our spiritual life, our emotional, physical aspect of our lives. It is very important. And we are embarking upon a new year. And, you know, persons will tell you, oh, I make my New Year resolution, or I don't make New Year's resolution. Whatever you call it, my encouragement to you is to give your life to the Lord. He is coming back, and He's coming back for those who are prepared to meet Him. Let us prepare our hearts to meet Him, that when He comes, we can go home with Him. All right? So, that's my word of encouragement. The next area we're going to be looking at is enlarged prostates, or benign prostatic hypertrophy. and we're going to be looking at now. We have done the topic on prostate already, and a lot of you may have heard before all of these things. But we have, in addition to the symptoms and causes, how to treat with it, prostate cancer, and all of these things. We have, in addition, some natural remedies that you can use, and also make sure that your diet is intact. So, we're going to be looking at that. So, enlarged prostate, and some persons are familiar with the symptoms: pain on urination, frequent urination, urine retention, often a fever. There may be a discharge, and it becomes harder to urinate forcefully. The outstanding symptom is having a get up at night to urinate. And most men with prostate problem, this is their major complaint. I have to be getting up too often to go to the bathroom to urinate, and sometimes when I go to the bathroom to urinate, oh, they'll tell you, God bless Wacom. But this is the one of the symptoms. The most outstanding one is having to get up at night to urinate. So the prostate is a donut shaped male reproductive gland. It is under the urinary bladder and surrounds the urinary tube or the urethra. Muscles located within the prostate squeeze prostatic fluid into the urethral tract during ejaculation. Most of the semen consists of this fluid, which provides nourishment and protection for the sperm. Prostate enlargement is also called benign prostatic hypertrophy. The prostate gland gradually becomes bigger. This occurs in half of all men over 50 and three-fourths of men over 70. It is probably the most common infirmity of aging in the human male. More than 500,000 American men are afflicted each year with this condition, enlarged prostate problems. It is believed that with age, testosterone production and levels decrease, and certain other hormones um, it also increase. And these certain other hormones include prolac- um, prolactin and estradiol. Estradiol. Mhm. So this results in more of a powerful form of testosterone called dihydrotestosterone in the body. This hormone causes an overproduction of prostate cells, which causes the prostate gland to become larger. As it does, it eventually tends to pinch the urethra and interfere with the flow of urine. As a result, neither the bladder nor kidneys empty fully. This produces pressure which can damage them. Urination becomes more frequent and the urine flows more slowly. There may be difficulty in starting and stopping the flow. Sometimes there is blood in the urine as well. Now, here is how to check your own prostate. Now, the prostate can be felt or palpitated with gloved finger. If you are going to do this effectively, you would need to examine it monthly. The normal prostate is firm like an orange and about the size of a walnut. You would reach into the rectum, if you are doing it yourself, to carry out this examination. The prostate is found at a depth in the rectum that is just comfortably in reach of the index finger. An accurate case of enlargement may be hard, while a chronic enlargement may be buggy. Tumors, either benign or malignant, tend to be irregular and modular. Now, prostate cancer, although this we're not really looking at prostate cancer in this section, um, I'm just going to mention it briefly here. An enlarged prostate can become cancerous, but fortunately, it always proceeds very, 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 very slowly. So slowly, in fact, that an operation to remove the prostate because of cancer is generally not needed. This is because before the man is likely to die of prostate cancer, he is quite aged and dies of something else first. So they're telling you that um, because of the pace at which the cas- prostate cancer develops, you may even die of something else other than prostate cancer. All right. So, if of course you want to consult your medical specialist, and we're not really going in depth of with prostate cancer, but we're just saying that an enlarged prostate can become cancerous, and you don't necessarily have to get prostate cancer. Now, you can treat with an enlarged prostate by using some natural remedies. And the first one I'm going to mention again is diet. So, eat a nourishing diet, including vitamin, minerals, and especially zinc. You need to get that in. Zinc. All right? So, the diets of those who have prostate trouble are usually low in essential fatty acids. So, flaxseed oil and wheat germ oil are the best to use. So, these are the natural oils. You don't want to use the oils out there, those vegetable oils and all those other oils. Flaxseed oil and wheat germ oil are the best. Never heat these oils. You don't heat these oils, all right? So treat it with zinc, especially fatty acids, so flaxseed oil, 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. You can take that. And a high fiber diet, which includes pumpkin seeds and alfalfa. Vitamin A, such as beta carotene, 300,000 IU is the recommended dosage per day. Vitamin C to bowel tolerance, chlorophyll, such as alfalfa, selenium, 250 mcg 3 times a day. Amino acids, alanine, glycine, and glutamic acid, 5 grams each daily for 90 days. You need to get those in. And cranberry juice, 2 pints a day. So this is recommended that you drink cranberry juice, and I'm talking good, real cranberry juice. The prostate contains more zinc than any other organ in the body. So take 30 milligrams 3 times daily in the highly absorbable form of zinc picolinate or zinc citrate. Taper slowly to 60 milligram daily. Then taper down to 30 milligrams daily as symptoms recede. Also, take 2 milligram copper with every 30 milligram, um, because the zinc can cause a copper deficiency. All right, and you want to ensure that you get these in. Now, men, you need to take care of yourselves. A lot of the men out there, they don't take care of themselves, and these things come upon you. You need to take care of yourselves. Make sure you get in your essential fatty acids, your flaxseed oil, and your wheat germ oil. And remember, you don't heat these oils. All right, no you don't heat them. HEAT. All right, you don't make them hot. All right, so you need to also take high lignum flaxseed oil, 2 tablespoons twice daily, along with 400 IU of vitamin E on a daily basis. Drinking cranberry juice can protect the urinary tract against infections as well, so these can help. Now, other helps include maintaining optimal physical and emotional health, and that is important. We take for granted our emotional health, and this is very, very important. Not just physical health, but emotional health as well. Regular exercise outdoors in the open air is important, and exercise is also one of the 8 laws of health. Also, fresh air is also another of the 8 laws of health. So, we have mentioned 6 so far in this presentation. So we have mentioned rest, nutrition, sunshine, water, exercise, and fresh air. And let's see if we're going to be mentioning all in as we go along. Now, as I said, regular exercise outdoor in the open air is important. Walking for an hour or two every day is also an excellent way of ensuring our physical health. All right. So, increase your fluid intake in order to flush the kidneys and the bladder of toxins and bacteria. Drink at least 48 ounces of water on a daily basis, but no fluids after 7 p.m., or you are going to be having this age old symptom of having to get up to urinate on a frequent basis. Do not let the bladder become too full. Urinate as quickly as possible. As you feel like you want to urinate, please go and do so. When the urge comes, please go and urinate as quickly as possible. Try to completely empty the bladder each time. So don't do it on a rush. Make sure that your bladder is completely empty each time you go to urinate. When there is an acute condition, take hot zits baths daily and add chamomile tea to the water. So you can make the tea and add it to a bath. And it is calming when you take it internally as well as topically. So sit 15 to 30 minutes daily in a partly full tub of very hot water. So you can do that as well. That is one of the therapy that you can use. Each day, 3 times, spray the lower abdomen and pelvic area with hot water for 3 minutes, alternating with a minute for cold water. So the hot and cold therapy, the water hydrotherapy, is also recommended. Also helpful is a short cold bath, not a prolonged cold bath, but a short cold bath. A high charcoal water enema helps the healing process. High charcoal and water enema, charcoal and water is good. So remember now, There are some, the charcoal, the powder. If you have the powder, it doesn't mix out completely. So what you want to do is make sure you strain it with a cloth so that there is no residue in it. All right. So if you're going to do the enema, you don't want any of the charcoal residue to be there. So you're going to strain it. So it's, you just need the charcoal water. All right. You don't need any particles in it. You are going to cause other complications. So use 1 cup of hot water and 1 teaspoon powdered charcoal and allow it to remain as long as possible. And as I said, it is hot water, so it will dissolve, but you may have residue, so you need to just strain it to be on the safe side. In order to increase circulation in the area, lay flat on your back on the floor, then swing one leg across the other till the knee touches the floor, and do that vice versa for the other leg. Do this as many times as you can. Eventually bring it up to about 50 repetitions at a time. And men, you can easily do that. So this is one of the exercises that you can use to, you know, to help to get good prostate health. So you can lay on your back, as I said. This will help to increase circulation, so the enlargement will go down. So the swelling will go down. So you can swing one leg across the other till the knee touches the floor, and do that vice versa. And do this as many times as you can, and eventually you can go up to about 50 repetitions. So you can do 25 with one leg and 25 with the other leg. And if you can manage more, you can do so. But don't overdo it. Don't overexert yourselves. All right? That is not recommended at all. Now, Dr. James Duke, um, one of the doctors that deals with prostate health, he recommends daily eating a special food mixture to keep the prostate from enlarging. All right, so, and these are some of the things that he recommends. Place a half cup or so of fresh pumpkin seeds in a blender, and you can open a capsule, use the capsule for the saw palmetto, and pour it in the blender. Add a few drops of licorice extract as well. And then you're going to blend until it is smooth. Then you're going to also, a few drops of flaxseed oil can be added to make it more, spreadable. So it is, you are going to keep this refrigerated, and you can spread this mixture now on your bread, and you can just eat a couple tablespoonfuls of it on a daily basis. Only mix small batches, enough for 2 days, because it is better when it is fresh. So you just do this enough for 2 days. So, and you want to keep it fresh. So you do enough for 2 days, you take that for 2 days, and then you do on the third day or so, you do another batch for another 2 day. And you can do this for a little while. Saw palmetto contains a compound which inhibits the action of the enzyme that turns testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. So this preventing prostate enlargement. So saw palmetto is also a diuretic, so it helps to increase the urine flow. So these are some of the things you can use. Pumpkin seeds now. So the saw palmetto, this contains the a compound. And remember, at first I told you that there is a um, enzyme that turns the testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. So when you use the saw palmetto, this um, inhibits the action of that enzyme. So this will prevent the prostate from being enlarged. All right. So, and it is also a diuretic. So this will also increase urine flow. Now the pumpkin seeds that you would use the supplemento with, this have been used for centuries, and these have been used to increase urine flow, and also it helps the prostate. The seeds contain curcumin toxins, which also helps prevent prostate enlargement. So they also contain zinc, which is recommended for avoiding enlargement. In addition, pumpkin seeds contain large amounts of three special amino acids, and it is glutamic acid, glycine, and alanine. So each of these has been found to reduce enlarged prostates, given in doses of 200 milligram of each of them on a daily basis. Or you can eat a quarter cup of raw pumpkin seeds each day. So men, pumpkin seeds are good for you. You can eat a quarter cup of this on a daily basis to eliminate or to prevent your prostate from getting enlarged. All right. So saw palmetto and pumpkin seeds, and also licorice. Licorice contains a compound which also prevents the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. But eating it in large doses for years can produce headaches and other problems. So remember, in everything that we do, we have to do it in moderation. All right. And if you, for licorice, you can, do it on occasion, because if you do it in large doses, you will cause further problems. And we don't want that. All right. That is not what we want. We want to promote healing. So don't overdo these things. Sometimes we hear that these things are good for us, and you know what we do? We take them in large quantities, in large amounts, and frequently. And then what this does is it causes further problems. So you can get headaches from this, and you can also incur other problems, and we don't want that. All right. So two other herbs which researchers have found to reduce prostate enlargement are pygium, and you can use this. It's the um, bark extract. I am not familiar with this one, but we can do the research on this one, and you can also use this. Is also recommended for use 2 times daily. Also, stinging nettle, and Niebert always talks about stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is also good, and you can also drink this. You can do use um, 2 to 3 teaspoon on a daily basis as well, or you can drink it. Just drink the stinging nettle. All right. So the pygium is it's an African evergreen tree. But if you visit some health food stores, you may be able to find the extracts of the bark, and it is the extract that is used of the bark that is used. So you can find, because things are on Amazon and all these other places and some other health food stores. So you can try to see if you can find it. It is good to have on hand, and you can treat with the situation with the enlarged prostate. Now, There are some other formulas that you can use. I just want to mention a couple more for you to treat with enlarged prostate. And these include corn silk, buchu leaves, parsley, saw pimento berries, kelp, and pumpkin seeds again, plus a pinch of cayenne, and you're going to do this together. All right, and you can use this as well. Other helpful herbs include echinacea golden seal for bacterial purposes, bacteria for bactericidal purposes. Horsetail combined with hydrogen helps contract the prostate. Saw pimento and cayenne are also useful, and you can use this. Time is swiftly running by. It is now 5:33 p.m. and you can and you are still tuned into, yes, to Nature's Way. And my producer is also sharing, yes, the stinging nettle and sweet nettle as well. Also, broomweed. You can use broomweed as well to treat with enlarged prostate. All right, so these are the natural remedies that you can use. And remember, you just need to use these remedies on a daily basis. Your diet is supposed to be a nourishing diet. Make sure you get in your vitamins and your minerals, especially zinc. And these can help your essential fatty acids, your flaxseed oil, and your wheat germ oil. And remember, you don't um, heat, as in HEAT, these oils, but you use them. All right, and you can, on a, on occasion, not very often or every single day, but you can eat a quarter cup of um, flax pumpkin seeds, I should say, pumpkin seeds, right? And include the alfalfa. Make sure you consume a diet that is high in fiber, and make sure you get in your chlorophyll, your selenium, your amino acid, and your cranberry juice, so that your urinary tract can be protected against infections. All right, because you don't want to um, this to develop into cancer. Also, some things to avoid are junk foods, fried foods, spices, chocolate, cashews. Once you treat with an enlarged prostate, the cashew is not good for you. Cashew is good overall. It is part of one of the grains that we should consume, but when you are treating with an enlarged prostate, avoid cashew or any caffeine products. All right. Do not drink alcohol or use any form of nicotine. All right. Also, you are to avoid sexual stimulation without a natural conclusion. A natural conclusion, which is an organism. Continued stimulation leads to a prolonged engorgement. Now, this is not good for the prostate. Keep your mind where it belongs. Keep your mind where it belongs. Do not look at anything hinting of a pornographical nature. Avoid everything that is sexually stimulating, especially if it does not lead to a natural conclusion, which is an organism. Okay? Avoid sexual activity as much as possible. This is the best way to care for your prostate in the older years. Avoid exposure to dampness or cold. Avoid constipation. This is also important because you don't want any straining. Now, zinc levels must be high enough. Pumpkin seeds, purslane or parsley as some people call it, and broccoli is also good. Use green leafy vegetables and cruciferous vegetables. Yes, because and the cruciferous vegetables also help to promote to keep your urinary tract clean. So you need to use these so that you can urinate to flush out any infections in your prostate. All right. Also, some of the other things that you are to avoid is make sure that your diet is of high fiber because you don't want to suffer from constipation. This is very important because straining is not good for your enlarged prostate. Bicycle riding, motorcycles, or horses may injure the perineum, resulting in congestion of the prostate. Especially avoid riding bicycles. Do not sit for hours on padded seats in cold places such as in buses and trains, etc. It keeps the healing blood from flowing in and out of your prostate. So don't sit for long hours. Avoid deep foam chairs. Whenever possible, sit on a hard chair. This reduces compression, which especially occurs when sitting in deep foam chairs. Um, the medicinal drugs, many of them irritate the prostate, and this one in particular, those that these medicinal drugs, including um, pilocarpine, pilocarpine. Now, this especially irritates the prostate. So you don't need to use these medicinal drugs. I have just given you the natural remedies, and these are what you are supposed to use. Now, these are the things that you are to avoid, and you are on your way to having a healthy prostate. Okay? And my encouragement to you is to cling to God with all your heart, and He will guide you aright. You need His help every moment. Trust and obey His written words. Again, trust and obey His written words. Now we're going to be looking at another condition because we have a little more time, and this is prostatitis. Now, prostatitis, we just enlarged prostate, and this is prostatitis. Now, prostatitis, um, the symptoms include pain during urination, similar to that of an enlarged prostate, fever, and a discharge from the penis. Now, acute prostatitis, pain, you will have pain around the base of the penis, pain between the scrotum and the rectum, fever and chills, lower back pain, pain during bowel movements, frequent urgent painful urination, and there is urinary retention as well, a feeling of fullness in the bladder, painful swelling behind the testes, the formation of an abscess in the prostate, frequent and burning urination, pus or blood in the urine. And this is for acute prostatitis. Now, for chronic prostatitis, the chronic form may not have any symptoms at all. If they do appear, it occurs gradually. Frequent and burning urination is one of them, blood in the urine as well, lower back pain, and pain on ejaculation. blood in the semen as well. Eventually, impotence or inability to copulate will occur. Gradually, urination becomes still more difficult than that of acute prostatitis. Pain and tenderness at the base of the penis and in the testes, groin, pelvis, or back. Now, this is for chronic prostatitis. Now, prostatitis is inflammation of the prostate gland. We just looked at the enlargement of the prostate, and prostatitis is the inflammation of the prostate gland. It may be acute or chronic. Acute prostatitis produces severe and sudden symptoms which clear up rapidly. Chronic prostatitis may cause mild symptoms for a long time and it is difficult to treat. Both types are most common in men aged 30 to 50 years who are sexually active. It can be in men of all ages, though. It is the most frequent type of prostate problem. So, that is prostatitis. The cause is often bacterial infection, which has spread from the urinary tract to the prostate gland, but it can also be caused by a sexually transmitted disease. And when we look at sexually transmitted disease, this will come up again, but we are not going to be spending any time on the sexually transmitted disease. Just to note that prostatitis can also be caused um, as a result of sexually transmitted disease, and the it is because of a bacterial infection which has spread from the urinary tract to the prostate gland. So the prostatitis is an inflammation of the prostate gland. All right. So, and there are some natural remedies that we are going to be looking at. The inflammation tends to block off the urine flow, which is called urine retention, and this causes bacteria to build up because the urine doesn't flow, it is retained, and when the waste is retained in our bodies, it causes bacteria buildup. Sometimes hormonal changes from aging may be a contributing factor as well. So, when urine retention results, the bladder becomes distended, weak, tender, and liable to infection. Infection can easily pass up the ureters to the kidney. All right, so we don't want that. It is now 5:45 p.m. and yes, you are still tuned into Waves 96.3 FM. Nature's Way is the program, and we are looking at prostatitis under the reproductive system, and we are looking at the reproductive system in men. So we are looking at some of the conditions and the diseases that affect the men. So we are looking at prostatitis. All right. So when urine retention results, the bladder becomes distended, as I said, weak, tender, and liable to infections. Infection can easily pass up the ureters to the kidneys. So you see that the problem can be compounded. Now, some natural remedies include, and again, you can guess, yes, you guessed correctly, diet. Eat a nourishing diet that includes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and nuts. Include cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and so on. Take your vitamin C's, and the recommended dosage is 2,000 to 5,000 milligrams per day. Your vitamin E, 800 IU per day, and flaxseed oil, 4 tablespoons on a daily basis. Also, selenium, 500 milligrams, and zinc, 45 to 60 milligrams. And you're going to do this for 3 months. Then you are going to go down, you are going to go to 30 milligrams and on a daily basis. Now, men, zinc is very important for general health, but for men, zinc is very, very important. So, men, make sure you get your zinc intake on a daily basis. Remember, I said um, pumpkin seeds is high in zinc, so you can eat your quarter cup of pumpkin seed on a daily basis so that you can get in your zinc. It's very important. It works well for the prostate and good health overall. Avoid spicy foods, avoid stress, do not smoke, do not drink alcohol, do not eat meat, do not eat saturated fat. And I'm going to say this again for emphasis, because a lot of persons tend, even though you treat with the situation, you refuse to make the necessary adjustment in your diet in order to get well. And when you do this, you add stress to your family members, because they know will have to be taking care of you and trying to get you well. Gentlemen, people in general, do the things that are right. Eat a healthy, nutritious diet. Stick to your fruits and vegetables and your whole grains and legumes and nuts. These are the things that God has given us to eat according to Genesis 1 and verse 29. You need to eat these things so that you can stay healthy. Put away the spicy foods. Make sure that you try to eliminate stress from your life. Do not smoke. Do not drink alcohol. Do not eat meat. Do not eat saturated fats. You need to stay away from these things so that you can be on your way to a healthy, wholesome living. Read the words of God. Trust and obey His words. Cling to Him and ask Him to help you in order to overcome. Appetite is one of the downfalls of mankind. And let us submit ourselves to Him, submit our appetites to Him, ask Him for the strength to overcome so that we can be victorious in this aspect of our lives. It is very important, and it is time that we really look into it and ensure that you stick to the diet that God has given to us. And my producer is sharing with me guava fruit and guava leaf tea combined with soursop leaves are excellent for prostatitis as well. So these are some, because and guava leaves is also a very good diuretic. It helps you to eliminate it. It helps your nerves, and it helps to eliminate infections as well. So these are some of the things that we need to to be including in our diets so that we can get well. All right? And we have to approach this thing with obedience and trust in God. And until we do that, we will not get well and we will not stay well. It is important that we have this trust in God. God uses these herbs to to help us to be well. He works through these herbs because we know that He is our healer. Now, we I have something I want to share with you from J. Cohen, MD. Now, he had chronic non-bacterial prostatitis and he had this for 5 years. Now, having noticed that his epidermis swelled and ached, the more he was on his feet, he tried lying on his wife's slant board. Now, what this does is raised which above his head at an angle of about 30 degrees, and he does this for 20 minutes on a daily basis. Gradually, over a period of a year, the symptoms disappeared. Now, he only feels the problem slightly when he has been on his feet for a long day. But he suggests caution if you have high blood pressure, cardiovascular distress, glaucoma, breathing difficulties, or intracranial problems. Please don't um, do this for a long period of time. All right. So this is also a natural way of eliminating the problem or treating with the problem. Just laying on a slant board, and you can do this for about 20 minutes. This is another way that you can use to treat this. All right. Um, Cerniliton, this is a flower pollen extract, and this has been used to also to eliminate the prostatitis. This, remember, the inflammation of the prostate gland. This also is used to eliminate inflammation. All right, so you can use that as well. Now, there are some zits baths that you can take. You can take these baths for about 30 to 60 seconds a day, minutes rather, cold mitten friction. And if you have pain, you can do the bath fomentation. You can do the fomentation, and you can also do that douche enema that I spoke to you about, with the charcoal and warm water. You can also do that. You can also use a pelvic pack. You can use a leg pack, and you once you have severe pain, you can use this. Now, when pain is present, avoid general cold baths. And if while you are experiencing the pain, don't use make sure the bath is not very, very cold. All right? Make sure you can, just a little chilling, and make sure that you use these things. You can do these other things. You can do your research and make sure that you treat with these conditions. So, under the reproductive system for men, we have looked at the spermatoria, we have looked at the enlarged prostate, and we have also looked at prostatitis. When we come back, we will look at some other reproductive organs in men and some of the conditions that men suffer from under the reproductive system. We have a few more that we are going to be looking at another time, because we are coming up close to our time here on the program. But my word of encouragement, one of the words of encouragement I want to leave with you, and I want to reiterate that it is important that we allow God to rule in our lives and to overrule in our lives. We need to ensure that we surrender our will to His and ask Him, plead with Him to help us to be strengthened along this path. It is important for us now more than ever to give our lives to the Lord. As I said before, we are embarking upon a new year, and there are many things that a lot of persons, by speaking with people, they know nothing of. They don't know about what is going on into the world, right? But it is time for us to give our lives to God. It is time for us to surrender our lives to Him. And I just want to say thank you for those persons who have joined us on YouTube. And thank you, Verna. Thank you, Niebert, for sharing the information with us as well. Those on the radio who have always been listening, I just want to say thank you for sharing with us and for being with us this evening. And I hope that the information that has been shared has been useful and you will use it and ensure that you keep yourself healthy. Now, my word of encouragement that I want to leave with you is when humanity depends wholly upon God, trusting when humanity depends wholly upon God, trusting in Christ, and relying on His empowering grace, men may keep God's commandments and live clean, holy lives. And let me share this with you again. When humanity depends wholly upon God, trusting in Christ and relying on His empowering grace, men may keep God's commandments and live clean and godly lives. I just want to say thank you for being here with us this evening and for sharing in this program, Nature's Way, here on Waves 96.3 FM. I hope you are able to join us next Sunday as we come back to discuss again with you the reproductive system in men, and we will go on to reproductive system in women. Have a good week, have a good evening, and may God bless you all. Let us pray. Father in heaven, thank you for this opportunity to share your words with our listeners and our viewers. Be with each and every one of them and help us, Lord, to be obedient to your words. In Jesus' name I pray and say thanks. Amen. It's goodbye from Nature's Way. Until next Sunday, have a productive week.
I am the God that healeth